Okay, what's up? It's Sydney Santiago. I'm back with another video.
But nah, that's just the truth though. Got a couple screws loose, I don't think I ever had them. He say he ain't his bitch, but the shit don't even matter. He tell me he moved on and all they do is make me madder. Bitch, you stuck with me for life, this is happy ever after.
Today's video is gonna sort of kind of be a follow-up of the month in jail. But no, it's not. At the same time, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna say in this video. I don't practice this shit out before I do the videos, but I kind of want to get into my daddy issues in hopes that my process of connecting my daddy issues with my negative behaviors can help somebody else. If you haven't watched my video about how a month in jail changed my life, I would suggest go back and watching it because it'll make this video make sense. But I'm gonna read what I wrote when I did the meditation and I kind of connected to it. I won't tell y'all exactly what happened with the meditation unless y'all want to hear about that later on, but I'm going to read y'all what I wrote. Okay, it says, and now I think I understand why I'm here, why I was in Montgomery County, why I was in Charlotte, to see me how God sees me. All the answers are inside me. I know them. I know the solutions. So why haven't I taken them? I see me for what I am, hurt, crying inside, dying to be loved. I see me from both sides, angry and foolish, hurt and abused. I've given answers to people from both sides and yet using them for myself. Devin hurt me, like really, really hurt me. And I probably would have just moved on, but he hurt me at a point when I was ready for different. And with his hurt, old wounds came up. Things I never faced before, things I was too afraid to admit. I let him know me and I gave him my all. And he made me feel rejected, which made me feel not good enough and unlovable. And I threw a tantrum for his attention. I lashed out, yelled, punched, cried, anything to get a reaction, just like I did as a child. And his rejection made me remember my father's. It brought back the same hurt, but worse. Me fighting for his love was really me, a little girl, wondering why her dad couldn't love her. I want to say, what was wrong with me, Dada? Why wasn't I good enough? Why wasn't I something to be proud of? It's not about Devin or Buddha or Eric. It has only ever been about Luya. My own feelings of unworthiness. If I could just prove my worth to someone, maybe I would feel what I've been dying to feel all these years, whole. And I think something clicked today. I'm not healed. I may never be. I may never forgive my father. I may always search for the answers. But something did click today. How hurt that little girl is, and that's a start. I hope I didn't look like shit reading this. But anyways, okay, so basically, I want to get into my daddy issues as a whole. Because I feel like people always be like, oh yeah, you're making bad decisions because you got daddy issues. Like, where was your dad growing up? And they say it as a joke, but it really is like it really is a thing. Like, it really does affect you for the remainder of your life. How your father made you feel, how your father interacted with you. He teaches you what a man is supposed to be like, but he also creates emotions in you that you're going to either try to spend the rest of your life trying to fix or find. Okay, so I would say my daddy issues started around 6th grade, for what I can remember, because before that my dad was a truck driver and he was not home that often. So like I had a weekend dad, sort of kind of like he would be gone on the road and then he would come back, and then what I got of him was a version that was fun. He wasn't there all the time, so like I would be missing him. So when he came back, it was like I was happy to see him, I was happy to be around him, he played with us, and then he would go back on the road and then we wouldn't see him again. In 6th grade, he lost his job, and that's when he was just there all the time. I believe it was 6th grade, but he lost his job, and then he was at the house all the time. And it's like I met a different version of my father. But to this day, I don't really know if I truly met a different version of my dad, or I just had not spent enough time around my dad to know who he truly was. And I'm pretty sure it was probably the second. But at this time, I was very shy. I was very timid. I was very, I don't know the word for, like, I wanted his affection really bad. I wanted to please him really bad, and I wanted to make him really proud of me. So I really, like, did things on purpose to try to receive his love. Now, my dad was not an active father. Like, he didn't come to our sporting events. He didn't show up to stuff like that, like school school things. Like, my mom was there. My mom was in the PTA. She was there all the time, but my dad wasn't. But my dad showed up for me. I mean, my mom showed up for me so much that I didn't notice that my dad wasn't showing up until 6th grade. And that's when I started realizing, oh my God, he's never here. Like, he doesn't really talk to me. Like, he's actually kind of mean. And he got meaner, like, he got meaner by the day. And also, as I aged, he got meaner. It's like once I started getting into being a teenager, it was like his true feelings for me came out. And, like, I ain't gonna lie, my dad hated me. And people always be like, no, he didn't. But he really just, he did. He did hate me, and he made it clear. He told me he hated me. He told me he hated my brothers and sisters. He told all of us that he did not like us. He did not want to be there. He hated us for being born. But it got progressively worse throughout the years. But at first, my reaction to his being mean, to him treating us bad or being mean or calling us names and stuff, my reaction initially was to try to do things to make him feel pleased so he wouldn't be upset. So I would try to be on my best behavior. I would try to shut up. I would try to work hard in school. Like, I did the typical, I guess, behaviors that you would do when you're trying to earn somebody's affection. You work hard at it. And then there was a time, I just remember there was a job fair. I don't remember exactly if it was in 6th grade or 7th grade. I just remember there was a job fair, and it was truck drivers. And I remember going to the table, getting the information on being a truck driver, because I was like, yeah, like, this will make my dad proud. So I got the paper, and I remember going back home and showing him the paper. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a truck driver. I'm going to be just like you. I remember him telling me, like, you can't do that. Like, you could not be no truck driver. You don't know how hard it is. You couldn't do that. And I want to say that was the first time he really, really made me feel like not good enough. I not just not good enough, but also that I would never please him. So by the time I got to 8th grade, it kind of flip-flopped. I went from being the girl that was trying to get his attention and get his affection to the girl that was just like, fuck it, fuck you. I don't give a fuck about your affections. I don't fuck with you anyways. Now, my dad got worse as I got worse. Like, the worse I acted, the meaner I got to him, the meaner he got to me. So it got to a point he would tell me, like, I wasn't his child. He was already telling me he hated me, so, like, that didn't even matter. But he really just did not give a fuck. Like, he showed his disdain for me every day in every way. We fist fought. But he always whooped me when I was younger. But when I got older, it was actually like he was punching me and shit. And then, okay, I had to take a little break. It is really hard for me to put into words what it was like being in a house with my father growing up. And I've been out of the house so long, almost 10 years. I left when I was 18 years old. And this is not something that has ever been a secret. This is something I've always been open and vocal about since the time I left my parents' house. The mistreatment that I faced in the house, or how abusive my dad really was. So it kind of has gotten to a thing, like, it's mechanical to talk about. So it's hard for me to express really how hurt of a girl I was, or what I was really facing in that house, because it's like I built up a protective measure where it doesn't feel so hurtful anymore. Like, even, like, I know we're getting off subject right now, but even when I go back home now, I still have the same feelings towards my father. Like, I still don't like him. I still don't want to be around him and stuff like that. But it's like I pushed stuff so far from me that it's hard for me to even remember, like, how bad I felt or how fucked up it was, because it's something that's so far to the back of my mind. And I fought so hard not to be that little girl anymore. But the truth is, he hurt me worse than anybody on this earth could ever hurt me. I'm talking about, like, really broke me down. Like, and I was a child, so I wasn't even built up yet to be broken down. So it felt like there was no chance for me to be something great or be something, because I was being shaped and molded into a person, but he was stumping me down at the same time. So the result of that became negative behavior, and it became me being a negative person. Ew, I never wanted to be a bitch crying on the internet. This is so crazy, but I just want to inspire other people. I want y'all to understand. So I think I'm going to just fast forward because it really is still hard for me to talk about that stuff. Not even just hard for me to talk about it, but it's hard for me to relive it and think about how I felt at the time, because I really was just a little girl. And it really hurts me that I was so hurt, and I can remember being so angry, and I can remember being so sad, and I can remember feeling like I didn't have nowhere to go. And anyways, let me change the subject. I just want to get back to me being an adult and how my behavior, I connected my negative behavior to my dad issues. When I was in jail, I thought about all the bad decisions that I had made in life. Like, leading up to that point, how did I get here? What have I become that led me to this moment? And then it's kind of like all the things that I was doing as an adult at 26 years old when I was sitting in that jail is the same things that I was doing when I was a child. So the lashing out, fighting, cussing people out, disrespecting people, letting people get close to me just to push them away or treat them like shit, or it was like I became my dad. It really was, because my dad, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes he would be nice, but it would kind of be like a trick. It's weird. Like, he would be nice. Like, sometimes we'll come home and he'll be nice. He'll act like he liked us. He'll act like he was cool. And then it would be like, okay, like, maybe we finally have a good dad. Like, maybe he's gonna be the dad that we wanted him to be. And then it's like the fucking rug would just get pulled from under us. Like, he would just snap like that. Like, and then it would just be back to him being angry and back to him cussing us out and calling us names and being mean to us. And my dad especially picked on me. He was especially mean to me because I responded. He was the type of person, like, misery loves company. If he knew he had if he knew he affected you in any way, you was upset in any way, you responded to him, whether vocally, you made a face, anything like that, he would pounce on that. Like, he would, like, eat that up. And that's the kind of child I was. My brothers and sisters and my mom, they would kind of take his abuse and they would go on about their day and they wouldn't respond. They kind of knew how to brush it off. But I was never that person. I wanted to fight for myself so bad, so I would argue with him. I would yell at him. We would fight and stuff like that. So he bullied me 10 times more. He was mean to me 10 times more than anybody else because I was an easy target. He knew he could get a reaction out of me. He knew he could ruin my day, ruin my mood and shit like that. So he continuously did that all the time. And when I tell y'all, my dad said the most brutal shit to me, like, nobody in the world could hurt me the way my dad already has. My skin is so tough to people calling me names and doing shit like that because my dad already did. My dad, when I was in high school, was telling me, like, anybody I deal with, any man that I get in a relationship with was gonna beat me. Like, he literally, like, prepared me for the worst. Not prepared me, but he set me up for the worst. So I'm thinking the worst of myself. He told me I was gonna get beat up when the boy tried to rape me. When I was 18, my dad told me shit like that happens. It's not the first time it's gonna happen, and it's not gonna be the last, because I had got molested at that time. So it was like, he did not care, and he, I don't know, maybe in a way wanted me to have the worst life possible. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. But everything he said to me, everything he did to me, everything he made me feel, it followed me through life, even when I felt like it didn't. Even when I felt like I don't give a fuck about my dad. I don't fuck with my dad. He don't matter to me. He don't mean shit to me. I'm living life. I'm doing shit he could never do. He'll never know nothing about me. He'll never see me again. He'll never talk to me again. Even when I'm feeling like that, I'm still displaying the stuff that he instilled in me. Like, I'm still acting like the person that he made me to be, not even knowing it. Every life decision I was making, it was either retaliation against him or me trying to hide or me trying to fight against a trigger, because being in such an abusive household, a lot of things became a trigger when I got older. A lot of stuff that people would do around me or say around me, or if anything felt like the slightest bit the same as how it felt when I lived in the house with my dad, I would retaliate the ways I learned when I was a child. So if I felt like somebody was treating me like I wasn't good enough, I was going to act like I wasn't good enough. Like, I wasn't the type to prove people wrong. I was in the house with my dad to the point that it's like I wanted to prove him right. Every bad thing he told me about myself, I wanted to prove him right. You goddamn right. I'm finna be all that shit. So I spent the rest of my adulthood trying to prove him right about every fucking thing. Every bad thing he told me. So any correlation that anybody I met had to my dad, like if they made me feel like I wasn't good enough, I was finna act like I wasn't good enough. If they made me feel like my voice wasn't heard, like they were ignoring me, or I like I didn't matter, I was going to yell and scream and fight. And if they made me feel unworthy, I was going to make them feel unworthy back. Like, I was going to call them useless and pathetic and ugly, and anything that my dad called me, I called people. It was so bad. It got so bad that I didn't even recognize it, and I could still see those patterns now. Even as a person that's worked on myself and I can acknowledge where this came from, I still do it. I still get in relationships with men, and then I call them the names that my dad used to call me. I make them feel the same ways that my dad used to make me feel. Like, so I just feel like healing ain't even just a linear thing. Healing is something like, you'll be okay one day and then you'll be back fucked up the next. Like, that shit is really crazy. But I will say the best thing that I learned was how to connect the behaviors to the issues that I had. Now, I will not say that me being promiscuous, me having sex with a lot of people, I don't equate that to my dad. I don't put that on my daddy issues. I feel like that was because I got molested. I didn't know boundaries because when I got molested, there was no boundary. I didn't know how to say no to people because when I got molested, there was no choice to say no. So that didn't have nothing to do with my dad. That had everything to do with me. Now, did my dad teach me about boys and how boys were supposed to treat me and stuff like that? No. But I wasn't just popping pussy because my dad was treating me bad. Now, I became a vindictive, liar, mean, cold, selfish woman because of how my dad treated me. It was like I just became what he was. I became the abuser, which is really dangerous because you don't even realize when you become the abuser, and you don't even realize how many people you go around hurting. Now, I have forgiven my dad, and I'll do another video on that. That don't got nothing to do with this video right now. But what I will say is, there's no excuse for nobody being no bad dad. I forgive him enough to know that he is a human and he's God's child and he deserves forgiveness. But will I excuse his behavior? No. Was it acceptable behavior? No. Should he have treated his own child like that? No. Nobody should treat any human like that. So I'm not getting on here telling y'all that you got to sweep away your daddy issues and let that shit go and just be healed because he deserves that. No, he actually doesn't. The forgiveness you have, the healing you have is for yourself. It don't got nothing to do with that man, because if he treated you bad or if he wasn't there or whatever kind of daddy issues that you created over time, fuck your dad. He ain't shit. It still fuck my dad. I forgive him because I wanted to be a better person. But it still fuck him because I'm smart enough, I'm wise enough, and I don't even got kids. I'm wise enough to try to get my shit together for myself to be a better person to the humans in my life. So why would a grown man not do that for their child, especially their daughter? That was a whole detour. But anyways, I don't even know what this video is about at this point. I literally be so scared when I make these videos that I'm not saying nothing. But really what I'm saying to y'all is you have to make the connection to why you are the way you are. And just saying, oh, because I have daddy issues isn't enough. You gotta actually identify each and every issue. Like how I just listed, I was selfish, cold, vindictive, and stuff like that. You have to identify those issues, and then you also have to make the correlation to why you was like that. Why did I feel like it was okay to abuse partners when I was in a relationship with them? Because my daddy was abusive to me. He hit me. So I thought hitting is how you get somebody to feel what you're saying to them or to act accordingly. Calling somebody out their name or disrespecting somebody, I thought, I don't know what I thought. I really don't know why. Because it's like, it didn't make me feel good when my dad did it to me. But you know what? The stuff that my dad did to me made me chase him more. So it's like the stuff that I started doing to men in relationships, it would make them chase me more or want to be with me more. Only if they're a toxic man, only if they're insecure. And because a healed person doesn't accept the same kind of stuff as someone who's broken. So I will say, I guess in a way, subconsciously I did it because I knew they would chase me after I did this stuff. And it worked, but it also made the relationship abusive. And then so many times I didn't leave abusive relationships because I was in one with my father. And my dad told me that I was going to be in one when I grew up. So every version of a man that I had was an abusive relationship. Like every relationship series that I had been in, I hope I'm saying something. I really do. I really do. Like, the whole point is you got to map this out. This is the whole point of this video. Like, I feel like I'm just rambling, but you have to map this down. Write down a list of all your negative behaviors. And then try to map it out. Like, where did this start? Who did this start with? Because it's not always daddy issues. It could be your mom, or it could just be learned through life or stuff like that. It's not all connected to your dad. But the things that are, you got to map that shit out. You got to make the connection. Why did I start doing this? Where did I learn this was okay? And what am I actually doing it for? Why am I doing these things? Like, and then that's just the start. But it is a start. Healing is hard. Moving forward in life is hard. Letting go of the past is hard. Forgiving people that hurt you is really, really hard. But it will serve you your best good to start, to make an effort for yourself, to show yourself that you love yourself enough to try to make a difference in your own life. So start it. Write down those negative behaviors. And if you don't want to do the meditation, you don't want to think back to the hard times yet, even just writing it down is the start. Even just telling yourself, this is where I'm fucked up at. This is where I need help at. This is where I need to put my attention into healing at. That's a start. And you just keep taking steps. And I guess that's what I want to say, that it's a process, and it's a never-ending process, and it's a hurtful process, and you got to dig deep, and you got to heal your inner child, and you got to forgive parts of yourself that you don't even want to acknowledge, and you got to forgive people that you feel wholeheartedly don't deserve your forgiveness. But it's about you. It's not about them. It's not about the yucky parts of yourself that you don't want to deal with. It's not about the shame that you feel. It's about you being your happiest version of yourself, being in the world and being a positive person, and being able to wake up every day and feel good about yourself. Wake up every day and go out into the world without heavy baggages of the trauma that you face and the abuse you face, and carrying that shit around. Because that's how it feels. It feels heavy to carry that shit around. It felt like a book bag with weights was on my back every time I'm in the world navigating any relationship, because the traumas affected every relationship, whether it was with my homegirls or with my family members, or with my boyfriends. Like, it felt like I was carrying some shit around and it was too heavy. And that's why I kept looking for other people. Like, that's why I kept looking for boyfriends, and that's why I kept looking for friends, because I wanted somebody to take part of this weight, at least take some of this off of me, because it's too heavy to carry by myself. And that shit is too heavy to carry by yourself. But you're not supposed to look for somebody to carry it with you. You're supposed to put that shit down. Let it go. You don't have to carry that shit around with you no more. And if anything, God will carry it for you. But nobody has to carry that weight of that shit at all. You really can let that shit go. And it feels good to have let it go. And like I said, it's not going to be something you forget. It's not going to be something you start completely hurting about or being fucked up about or being sad about. But there's going to be a version of you that's going to be so past it, you don't walk into a room with that shit on you no more. It don't show on your face no more. It don't show on your body no more. It don't show in your actions no more. That's and I'm living proof of this. I'm living proof of this because my issues, my traumas, they don't show everywhere I go now. Like, they was showing with every decision I made. They was showing with every action I made. They was showing with every single day I lived. They don't show no more because I'm not carrying that shit with me. I left that shit back there. Whoever's still walking around with that shit, they that's on them, but that don't got shit to do with me no more because I wanted to feel light. I wanted to feel free and I wanted to be over it. And do I sit and think about it? No. The only reason I'm crying on this video is because, like, this is a moment of me like regurgitating it, but also it makes me sad, but it's also a bittersweet feeling because I'm not there no more. So I do also want to acknowledge that, like, you see my tears because I'm hurt for that girl that I was, but I'm not that girl no more. And it's a bittersweet feeling to me because I wish I could go back and tell her it was going to be okay. And this is why I make these videos, because I can't go back and tell her. So I'm going to tell y'all. I'm going to tell the little girls that's watching it. I'm going to tell the grown women that's watching it that's still in that place of trauma, that's still in that in between, that still feel that hurt and they don't know how they're going to get out of it. They don't know when they're going to get over this man, over their dad, over their mom, over whatever situation they've been through. They don't know how they're going to move past it. I'm telling y'all now, you gonna get past it. You gonna feel better. It's gonna be okay. I really wish I could go back in time and hug my 18-year-old self and just hold her and tell her it's gonna be all right. Because I remember how it felt. Deep inside of me, I remember that anger I used to walk around with. I remember those tears I used to hold inside of me. I remember that yucky shame I used to carry around with me every day. I just remember it all. I remember it all. And that's not how I feel anymore. So damn, it's so crazy that I can't go back and give her a sign like it's gonna be all right. And you know, sometimes telling people it's gonna be all right ain't even enough, but I promise that shit do get better. You do get away and you do learn how to be happy. I hope I said something in this video. I really do. I don't know if I did. I'm praying for the best. I'm praying this makes sense. If I didn't say shit, I'm going to do another one where I say more shit. But, of course, feel free to ask questions because I got answers. Like, I don't got all the answers in the world, but I got answers for what worked for me. So, before I end this video, I just want to say to everybody that watches me, and they're watching me because of... Okay, to everybody that's watching this, and you're watching me specifically because you know that I've been through stuff and I've healed through stuff, and you want to learn the process or you want to learn how to heal. I want you to know right now, I fuck what I just said earlier about the first step. That is the first step. Looking out and trying to find somebody to help you or find someone similar to you that has figured some part of the journey out. That is part of the first step, and I'm proud of you for making it. I'm proud of you for trying to get the answers. And just that alone is how I know you're going to be all right. Just that alone is how I know you're going to make it through the healing process. And you will, and you're going to be all right, and you're going to smile again, and you're going to be happy. And all that stuff that you're carrying around with you, you're going to let go of it. So don't hold yourself to a standard, or don't beat yourself up about stuff. You're going to be all right. Don't be so hard on yourself. Forgive yourself and just sit back and prepare yourself for the process, because it is a process, but you're going to make it through that process and you're going to get to the goal you want to get to. You're going to be the person that you want to be, and you're going to get the happiness and the love and the respect, and you're going to be okay. So anyways, if I didn't say nothing, I'm sorry. If I did, you're welcome. Anyways, always walk like you're the baddest bitch in the room. Love y'all.